How's it going, YouTube? Jamie the Kid 00 here, and finally, at long last, I'm back with a Macro Rabbit deck profile that I actually enjoyed playing. As you guys, well, if you've been playing this game for the past year, you'll know that Rabbit has taken setback after setback when it comes to the ban list. And ever since Rabbit went down to 2 from 3 and Torguide went to 2 from 3, I haven't felt comfortable playing the deck. And I still don't feel comfortable playing the deck. It's still nowhere near as powerful as it once was. And I really miss that, but it's the ban list. We've got to do what we've got to do. We've got to play it that way. So, recently, I need to give credit to Starstrike Duelist X, because she sent me this this deck list the other day on Facebook, and I actually quite like the look of it. It's very odd, and it's very similar to Paul Clark's ARG deck list, and I quite enjoyed it. It's a lot different from what I've been playing, so it does take a bit for me to get into, but I've been testing it on Dueling Network and real life, and it's been pretty good. I made a couple of tweaks myself, but this is, for the most part, the list I was sent. But it's quite interesting, and I felt the need to deck profile it, because I really miss being able to play Macro Rabbit, because it's probably the best deck that I've ever played. It's the one I've most enjoyed. So we're going to get into the deck profile. We're going to start off with 2 Rescue Rabbits. I don't really need to say much about that. The absolute MVP of the deck, and you really just never see it enough, but it's Rabbit. When you see it, it's amazing. You just grind it. You just play grind games until you see it. The way I've been playing this deck, I've realised that you really do just have to play the 1-for-1, -1 grind games until you find your Rabbit. And just always try and push for those +1s wherever you can. Because I find it plays a lot like the advantage system of Monarchs. If your opponent goes plus, you're in trouble. But you got to keep minusing your opponent. So the 2 Rabbits, the 3 Sabersaurus, of course, and to go along with them, the 3 Carbazals as standard for the Macro Rabbit deck. A card that I feel has come back into its own, without dropping it, is 3 copies of Jurak Gwaiba. Recently, the meta has taken a shift towards monsters which are very small. Again, Mermail, this card is amazing against Fire Fist. If they don't have Tenki, which they usually won't if they've bared it, their monsters are 1600, so Gwaiba can kill those. And Gwaiba's just pretty good against most things. It just has trouble against bigger monsters like Abyss Megalo and things like that. But even in the presence of Abyss Megalo, a Lance will get you over it. So Gwaiba has really come back from last format where it was kind of a bit iffy. But I'm really quite enjoying playing Gwaibas, and I definitely wouldn't take them out of this build. And like even in a bad format for them, I think I would still play them because they are the 7th, 8th, and 9th dinosaur. You really need them. Then I play double Torguide, just because it's Torguide and you can abuse Rabbit. No extra targets. Literally, the best idea with this is just to play it, get your rank 3, and that's it. Because the other cards will clog. Like, they're really not as good as they used to be. And then, kind of the strangest card in the deck, we play 2 copies of Card Cardi. Card Cardi is in there as our last monsters to give us more space for traps. And literally just allow us to play a grind game. And there's people talking outside, so I'm losing my train of thought. But that's about everything I want to talk about for the monsters. Just Card Cardi is really good in practice, because you play a massive trap lineup, so it's really good to help grind out. So it definitely put in a lot of work when I was using it. For the spells, we play Reborn, Dark Hole, Storm. No Book. I was playing Book, and I took it out for one of my traps, so I don't really miss Book, so. Double Duality, this deck grinds a lot more, and special summons a lot less than the old Rabbit variants, so you're really going to have to get into the mindset that Pot of Duality is good for the deck. Pot of Duality is really good also in tandem with this. If you've opened them both, or you can Duality into this, set your traps, play it, and you're done. You've had a really good turn. I have really no complaints about Duality. A few people have, of course, criticised it, but I still feel it is one of the best cards you can play in the deck. Then we play 3 MST, because getting those back row cards off the field is really, really important. It's really good for countering Abyss Spheres and Wind-Up Factories and Tenkis. It's just so good at the moment, you've really got to play them. Then we play 3 copies of Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance will always be amazing. It always has been amazing. It will continue to be amazing for a long time to come. I don't really think there's anything else I need to say about this. If you've played Rabbit, you know how versatile Lance is. It's so good in so many situations that you never want to cut it. 3 Lance is beautiful. For the traps, we're going to start off with the trap that I cut the Book of Moon for. I'm actually playing 3 copies of Macrocosmos, bumped up from 2 very recently, because I felt that in the meta right now, Macro hits everything. Absolutely everything. Unless you're playing against like another Macro Rabbit player. So the ability to get into macro as fast as possible I felt was very, very key. And I'd stick by that. If I were to play this deck for Retrons, I'd definitely main 3 macros because it shuts down the Dark World, Mermail, and Chaos matchups because those are very heavy at my locals. So shutting down Dark World and Mermail is a must. I play 1 Mirror Force because if they see the 1, they're usually going to expect it. So 1 is enough. They'll fear it for the rest of the game, even if you side it out at game 2 and 3. So the 1 Mirror Force is enough. Double D Prison, I didn't feel that 3 was really that necessary. Double Phoenix Chain. Phoenix Chain is actually really good, puts in a lot of work. It's surprisingly good. It's not that amazing in the Mermail matchup, of course, but like it's something that's perceivably bad, and you will side it out when that matchup comes up. Then play double Bottomless, just absolutely amazing card. Great in the Mermail matchup, just great in a lot of matchups. So Bottomless. Double Torrential Tribute. It's just 2 TT. I don't think that playing less than that is good because your opponent will try and commit to a board at some point, and sometimes just losing your monster is really worth doing. So people say, oh, don't play Torrential because you might have an Evolzar on board. Well, ultimately, if the situation is that bad that an Evolzar can't stop it, you're going to want Torrential anyway, and you're not always going to have an Evolzar, especially with the inconsistency this deck offers now. It's no longer the most consistent deck of the format, which it was back in the day. So Torrential is a must, in my opinion, because it's devastating in the grind game for minus pushes. It's in my testing, this is where I get most of my pluses off of Torrential. Then I play 1 Warning, 1 Judgment, and the 1 Starlight Road, because we play a lot of traps. So that's the main deck. I don't have a side deck for you guys because I took this to a test locals without actually building a side deck, so because I didn't have time, so I don't have a side deck to show you, but oh well. You can make it up as you go along. For the extra deck, we play 1 Acid Golem because it's easy, instant muscle off of Tour Guide. Like, that is the one reason I like to play it. So 1 Acid, 1 Leviathan Dragon because it's a little more reliable and a little bit more long-term than Acid Golem. 1 Leviair for abusing the Rabbit Push. 1 Zen Mains because stalling is good. 1 Utopia because it's Utopia. 1 Maestroke because it's the best rank 4. 1 Papal Imperative. Spirit Reapers are a bitch. That's my my reasoning. Abyss Dweller because Cabazals are water, and you can use this to make Cabazals 22 and make it self 22. So Abyss Dweller is awesome, great in the Mermail matchup. 1 Direwolf. People will question why I'm playing this because there are no Beast Warriors in the deck. Direwolf is basically in there for the instances in which you have an opponent's monster, like say a BLS, that really needs to come off the board and you need to commit to a minus play. So you do have the opportunity with Direwolf to go Rabbit into this and tribute it and kill itself, Scrap Dragon itself to kill the opponent's monster. Because if you don't, it's basically game. It's just instantaneous removal, and sometimes there are situations where you really need to do that. Very, very, very uncommon situations, but there are situations in which this card will win you a game by not losing you the game. Then I play 1 Shockmaster, because Shockmaster is still makeable in this deck, so it's a really good card when you do. Then for the Evolzars, we play double Largia, because we don't play Avarice, so there's no need for a third Largia. And then double Dolka, because Dolka's good, Largia's good, they're good in their own matchups. And then we play 1 Synchro, and I bet you know what it is. Guess what it is? It's Stardust Dragon for our Starlight Road. So yeah, it's been ages since I played Macro Rabbit, and I've really missed it. When I picked this back up again, I was really kind of happy to be playing it, really comfortable to be playing it. But at the same time, I can really see its glaring fail points going up against matchups that have been hit less than Macro Rabbit did. Like Chaos Dragons that I tested against on the weekend. So I can really see its glaring kind of failings, where it's missing things. And as much as I wish to say that I really want to go back to this deck, ultimately I'm seeing things like Evil Swarm as a much better way, a much better use of my rabbits. So that's probably where you will next see these lovely bunnies. But yeah, otherwise I think that's about everything I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys have enjoyed this return to Macro Rabbit. I'll see you guys next time with some more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Peace out, YouTube. Bye.